Okay, right. We are back. First podcast of the new year. This is the We Quit Booze Brothers, a podcast where we try to have honest, no fluff conversations about our various experiences of quitting alcohol. And with me, as always, is my brother Matt. Hello, Matt.
Hey Mark, Happy New Year, everyone. 2025. Wow, here we are. It's the 5th of January today, and yeah, we were just having a chat off air, and there is an anniversary coming up. But I'll hand it back to you, Mark, and you can share that one with everyone.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, well, first of all, sorry we haven't done any of these, but I think God, it's got to be two weeks. I think we just decided we would take a bit of a break over the holidays, enjoy the holidays. Whether you celebrate Christmas or not, for us, we do. And Christmas Day fell on a Wednesday this year, which meant that we pretty much got really with the New Year break as well. It was almost like a 2 week holidays, 2 week break. So we ended up taking 2 weeks off, and we thought that we would check in with everybody, like I say, first one of the new year, and really just to sort of see how everybody got on. We know that Christmas and the holidays is one of those very pronounced times of the year where alcohol just seems to be so prevalent, so kind of high on the sort of high. It's almost like it's wearing a high vis jacket, wandering around every day. That it's every single turn appears to be laced with the temptation to drink. So I think kind of first of all, just really send us your comments. How did you get on? I know we didn't do any of these, and sort of part of the reason we do this, I think, is to just sort of almost in my mind, it's like, when you stop drinking, sometimes it's quite nice to just have a kind of an informal conversation with other people that don't drink, and how was it for you, and did you get tempted, and did you enjoy it? And
Yep.
Matt mentioned the anniversary, and we were talking off air, and I just said to him, one of the things that I observed over the last 2 weeks was, yeah, it's coming up for 8 years for me, which is a lifetime, really. I was going to say
Well done.
I'm so old now that I can't even claim to have been a young man when I when I stopped. I was certainly a lot younger than I am now, and I think on Thursday, not but who's counting? On Thursday, it'll be 8 years. And what I really noticed over the last 2 weeks is how it's just no longer an issue for me. I don't covet and sort of yearn for alcohol at all anymore. So if anybody is at whatever stage you are in your journey, one of the things I can tell you for sure is that it definitely does go away eventually. You might look at it occasionally and think, oh, maybe that glass of wine. But actually, what I look at and what I see with alcohol is I see the wasted opportunity. I see wasted time. I see the lack of agency that you get. I watch people at Christmas parties lose their sense of self. They become somebody that they're just not. They become a drunken version of themselves. I watch the hangovers. I hear the stories of we didn't get out of our pajamas today. Which, look, if you're sober and you decide to have a long day watching movies in front of the fire or whatever it is, then that's a lovely way to spend the day. But if you're, as I have done in previous years, lying on the couch because you just feel so awful, just churning through Netflix shows, waiting for the next excuse to have another glass of something, then that really is a waste of time. So just a really interesting period for me. Had a fantastic Christmas. Matt and I were together over Christmas.
Yep.
And families shared Christmas Day together. We had 14 around the table. We just had a lovely time. Matt and I had gone out running. We went out and had meals together. Lots of fun, lots of laughter.
Yeah.
And I've come away from it ready to face the new year, excited about 2025. Um, there's always, I think, a little bit of a jumping off point when you've had a period of time of downtime, real downtime. You've been off. We were talking about Matt's son, who's struggling to click back into the mode of doing homework because he's been off for so long, and he's 14, so he's definitely not a drinker. So even if you don't drink, there's always an element of, oh, I've got to go back to work. The
Yeah.
fun is kind of over. But what I can tell you is that if you've been drinking for these last 2 weeks, it's going to be a lot fucking worse than it is if you haven't. Yes, tomorrow's a normal day for us. It's Monday. We're going to have to do some proper work, but I'm actually kind of looking forward to it. I'm actually quite looking forward to getting back into the groove. I'm actually quite looking forward to what I can do this year. So, anyway, that was a lot longer than I thought it was going to be, but yeah, I'll hand over to you, Matt. Any thoughts on that? Your observations? How was it for you? Did you
Yeah, yeah.
were
No,
you
no, I
sneaking
mean,
upstairs and swigging vodka behind my back, or were you all right?
no, no, no. And like you, just no temptation anymore. Had some evenings out, as you mentioned, we were together. And I think what was really, really great is, when you don't drink, you do so much more. Every morning we got up. I ran most mornings. You went to the gym. We ran together one day. Then our routine was sort of get up, have coffee, have a chat, do our own thing, and then maybe we'd have lunch together, maybe we wouldn't. And then, it's very much, we were just having the Christmas that we all wanted. There was no pressure. And actually, the best thing about it is I didn't fuck up the Christmas dinner this year. So that's obviously a good thing. But it was just a really, really enjoyable time. We did lots. We went to Cambridge, visited that for a day. You and I and our sons went to the football. That was fantastic. We just did so much. We enjoyed evenings where we just sat and watched Gladiator. We sat and watched football. We had takeaway dinners. We went out. It was my birthday, and it just great memories and great times. And you know, what a wonderful way to spend Christmas. What I did really notice for this sort of festive period, whether it's Hanukkah, Christmas, whatever for you, two things I noticed. The first thing was that you can go out and have a good time. And, I went to the pub to meet some friends, and they were drinking, but we just went for a couple of hours and we had a lovely time. We got some of that festive spirit. Pubs in the UK, I'm going to be honest, at Christmas time are a lovely place to be. Even if you don't drink, go and have a coffee, go and have a Lucky Saint beer, or another brand which is non-alcoholic. you know, just go and sit down and have a chat with some friends. It is warming. It's nice. And the reality is that, pubs are a family place to go to, and, they should exist and do exist. And it's just us, the ones that have questioned our alcohol use, who really sort of need to be careful. So I think that was a really, really cool thing. The other thing I wanted to talk about was New Year's Eve. So New Year's Eve was great. Actually, went to a friend's house and we had some lovely food, etc. And I was with some people and they're good friends, and so everything went well. Nothing bad happened. But one guy who I don't know that well, he said to me, he knows I don't drink, etc., and totally cool with it. And he, at one point, about maybe at 1 o'clock in the morning, he was like, "How do you do it? How do you do it? How do you not? How do you live without getting that buzz? That excitement, that buzz from alcohol?" And it made me kind of smile. And I said, look, the reality is I get that buzz from other things now. I get that buzz, that buzz will be there tomorrow morning when I wake up and I'm completely clear headed and I'm going to go for a run and I'm going to enjoy that time listening to my music, thinking about my thoughts, thinking about 2025, thinking about what I achieved last year, thinking about what I can achieve this year. I get that buzz when I'm, going out to a football match with you. I get that buzz from going to the cinema yesterday with my daughter. I get that buzz from doing all the really, really cool, amazing things that I do now I don't drink. And it just made me laugh, because for that small sort of period of instant gratification, that first drink, he was questioning how I'd live without it. And it made me laugh because he is a big drinker. And I know, and through his own admission, he has bordered on the problem drinking, you know, chart.
Yeah.
So that was interesting. And then what was also interesting was that my daughter stayed over with said friends, and we went to my mother-in-law's house, and then so the next day I had to go back to pick her up. And I'd been up, I'd been out, I'd done things. It was a beautiful day, actually, very, very cold, but really crisp. And I got there about midday, and they were the living dead. They hadn't been to bed till 4 o'clock in the morning. They'd drunk, countless bottles of wine, champagne, all that sort of stuff, and had a great time. So that was funny, seeing them looking sheepish, looking, feeling like I would have felt before. And then the other interesting thing was during the evening, whilst you know things progressed, the girls didn't drink so much. They held back. They were pretty reasonable. My wife doesn't really drink much anyway these days. She maybe had in total. We were there from 8 in the evening till nearly 4 o'clock in the morning. I think she had 3 glasses of wine. And the other girls did. And so when it got to about 2, 3 o'clock in the morning and the boys were still topping their wine glasses up, the looks and the stares were, honestly, it was so
Yeah.
obvious
I just
that,
wanted to, just
yeah,
sorry,
yeah, jump in.
just listening to you talk about what I think is so true with this is that alcohol does lie to you. It fools you into thinking that it's the good time that you want. If you break down the anatomy of an evening of drinking, I think there's probably about 20 minutes where it's enjoyable. And I think the rest, you're either chasing that 21st 20 minutes and getting progressively more and more drunk and more out of control and creating the potential for chaos and creating the potential for aggravation, such as the wives looking at their husbands thinking, why are you drinking so much? It creates that problem. But when you drink, you think it is great. When you don't drink, you do see it for what it is. There are, there is a period where you could say there's some enjoyment there. You're getting a buzz, you're getting the sort of effect of the alcohol in a positive, enjoyable way. But very quickly, that will turn into actually all you're doing now is just getting more and more drunk, causing more and more damage to your body, and creating a bigger payback that you're going to have to pay the day after. So it's a complete myth, and it's really interesting to observe it. I think maybe that's a conversation. I don't want to. We try to keep this one a little short, so I know I've got a really bad habit of going down these rabbit holes, but. And I also loved your point about, how do you live without the buzz? Listening to you talk, and when we talk, the buzz comes from those crisp early mornings. The buzz comes from connecting with your family, connecting with your friends, feeling like you're doing it from a place of honesty. And I mean that because I don't think drinking is an honest pursuit. I think drinking precipitates dishonesty. I think it creates a selfishness. I think when you drink, it's all me. It's either you're lying to yourself about how much you've had, or so I think the buzz is infinite when you don't drink, and it's finite when you do drink, and that's kind of a big part of it, really. So yeah, anyway, interesting. And one other thing, just to finish off for me, just on this whole period, and be interested to hear everybody's feedback. And one thing I will say is if you slipped, don't worry about it. There's always
Yeah.
the opportunity to reset. If you didn't manage to get through without drinking, then try again. Never quit quitting. We always say never quit quitting. And so, that's fine. And there's tools, and there's we can certainly point you in the right direction to get help on that. My final point was, we, for the first time, Matt and I had non-alcoholic wine with our Christmas.
Mm,
I've never had
we
that
did.
before. I've
I
never,
forgot that.
well, I
Yeah.
say that. I tried one and it was so awful. It was just like Ribena. It's just like some sort of, sweet, sort of fizzy shit, basically. But Matt bought I don't know, like a prosecco or a champagne or whatever, and it was really,
Yeah.
really nice. And what was really interesting is that a few of the drinkers had it, and they started drink. They were like,
Yeah, we ran out.
they kept saying it ran out because they
Yeah.
wanted it. And we had a red wine, which was not quite there, but it was with the turkey dinner that we had and all the rest of it. It was actually a really nice, and you got the sense of occasion, you got the sense of the sort of celebration without any of the hangover, without any of the shit, without any of the damage to your body. And here we are, it's 2025 and we're ready to go again. So there you
Yeah.
go. That's it for
Yeah.
me for what I wanted to say. But yeah,
Perfect.
as always, loads more to talk about. We've got
Yeah.
more sessions that we can dive into, but yeah,
We,
it's
we
still
could carry on. We
endlessly
could carry
fascinating.
on. Absolutely. I just want to finish with the with 2 points. The end of the evening and New Year's Eve. So it actually came to a point where one of the ladies, in pretty open discussion, said, I want to change my life in 2025, both personally and professionally. And she didn't say any more, but she shot a look at her husband, and that was quite poignant. It was quite worrying. But you know, I think the point there is that you look at some people. I just think, if you could just stop drinking, your life would be so much better. These are people, actually, I'm not going to their story, but they have been through some tough times. I feel sorry for them, but I don't, feel so sorry that, you know, I just know it's someone who would benefit from taking a break from the
Yeah,
from
yeah.
the booze.
The irony is that I was always that type of drinker. I used to drinking for me was a way of turning the noise down. I knew that when, however stressful life got, when I was running my business, it got very stressful, particularly in the early years. And I always knew that, a drink was all I needed to just sort of to turn the noise down. And so for me, it was my solace. For me, it was the refuge I thought that I needed. But actually, what it was a false economy because it gave me temporary respite, but it then kind of hit me on the back of the head with interest, and I got all the sort of follow on anxiety and remorse and everything else. What I've discovered in so many things is that the slight challenge and the pain of facing the world without alcohol is the route to freedom. There's a phrase which I've probably said on here a few times, which is that, everything you want in life, or most of what you want in life, exists the other side of the things that you don't necessarily want to do. And I think that's for sure the case with alcohol. The life that those people want exists the other side of not drinking. And she said, I want to change things in 2025. You've said this in the past, which is if you quit drinking, you don't need to set New Year's resolutions because you're already ahead of the curve.
Yeah.
You've done the biggest thing. And just again, I keep saying finally, but you shared with me that Anthony Hopkins thing, which if maybe I'll try and put a link to it in the show notes. I'm not sure if I could do that, but he's now quit drinking like 50 years ago, whatever, and he's just reflecting on his life and how amazing and what a fantastic life it is through not drinking alcohol. So there's lots of inspiration available, lots of examples of where, trust us. I'm 8 years in. Matt, you're 5 now, is it? Or
It will be 6 years this year.
amazing, right?
Yep. Time
And
flies.
you know the difference is, Matt, he's a different person. Trust me, I knew him when he drank, and I know him now. It's just a different person, and just can't. There's no downside. There's no comparison in terms of how much better it gets. So, anyway, right, that was probably longer than I thought, but yeah. Anything else, Matt? Any other?
Just final thing, very, very quickly. I said there'll be two things. Second thing is we all have an Achilles heel. So this year, my biggest one, 2025, sugar. Oh my God. Oh my God. If I tell you the brownies that we had over Christmas, I think I probably ate half the tray. They were unbelievable. But it is my Achilles heel. I need to cut back on the sugar. So this year, I actually saw a thing about Ray Fiennes, the actor in Bruges. I think he was in, and many other films. the film Spielberg did as well about the Second World War. I can't remember what it's, Schindler's List. And he was doing a quick video about getting shredded. So, and he was like, I'm 60 years old, so I'm not going to be Arnold Schwarzenegger, but I had to get in shape for this role. And they said, what were the biggest things that made the difference? And he went, no alcohol, no sugar.
Yeah.
So there we go.
Yeah.
And I quit vaping last year, so I'm nearly there. Not that I'm really taking all the fun away, but yeah, that's my little target this year.
Right. So are you thinking about quitting sugar completely?
I'm thinking I'm going to quit sugar for January and see how I
Wow.
feel.
Oh
Yeah.
my God. Right. Okay. Good luck.
So
Impressive.
I'll keep you posted. Keep you all
Yeah.
posted on
Yeah.
that.
Sugar still, yeah, sweets and brownies are still,
Yeah,
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 over the peak,
exactly.
absolutely. But anyway, cool. Well, let's see how that goes. Thanks everybody for listening. Really appreciate it. Sorry we've been off for a couple of weeks, but hopefully this was a good catch up. And yeah, let's get on with 2025. Leave comments, share, like, subscribe, do whatever.
All
And
that good stuff.
as we always say, never quit quitting. Until the next time, it's goodbye from me.
And goodbye from me.
And it's goodbye from him.